about the car power um, allotment in the budget. And plenary decided that since that was now part of the initial issue of the part of the reason why he was here, we would defer that matter to today so he will be prepared to respond to the issue of car power appropriation. So, Mr. Minister, would I ask you to address the issue about car power? And that's the reason why you're here today. So we'll proceed from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Pro Tem. Again, I'm accompanied by the Deputy Minister for Budget and Planning, Mrs. Tanya Bronson. Let me start by saying thanks to you and the Honorable Librarian Senate for the indulgence that you have been here on Tuesday. We had a high power European Union delegation in town, with whom we are discussing too many things that are critical to the country. And we had to sign an agreement of 20 million euro for support to women groups and CSOs that are helping to fight gender-based violence and to advocate for young girls that are afflicted, and that it took most of our time, and that you will allow us to deal with that issue shows the collaboration and coordination that works for the best interest of the country. So I need to start by saying thanks to you for that. It's good to be here. You've asked that our discourse give you more insights on the issue of car power. One thing I need to tell you is that the fiscal year ended December 31st, 2024. But the PFM law gives authority to the Ministry of Finance to spend against 2024 appropriations up to the end of March 31st. So as we speak, there are two accounts that are operating in parallel. The 2024 account is still open, and the 2025. And commitments that were approved, that were made as at December 31st, we have legal authority to spend on them until the end of March. By that time, all commitments, all payments for 2024 activity would have, would have lost the legal authority to spend on them. At that time, the Auditor General will come again to draw the line, and the Ministry of Finance has 30 days, the end of April, to produce the consolidated accounts and outturn for the government. And the outturn is audited to give assurance to the Honorable Librarian Senate in the House and the Librarian people. The Auditor General, by law, is obligated to audit the accounts and then report to the Librarian people through the legislature. So that process is obtaining. What you saw in the approved budget as outturn, that the outturn column is actually a projection. By the time we reach March 31st, that figure will change. So technically we can say it has, it can move up and down. So the real outturn, we haven't produced an outturn report. There is an outturn report that is part of the the package, the key person that is responsible to report on the performance of the last budget under the authority of the minister is what we call is the Comptroller and Accountant General of the Republic of Liberia, the CAG. Before, that office was under the Deputy Minister of, I think, of Fiscal Affairs. But the 2019 amendment to the PFM law has given full authority. So it's a deputy level position. In fact, you will know that all controllers of the country now work under the supervision. They can be deployed and rotated by the Controller General. Now, all of them need to send their reports. As we speak, there will be reports being gathered from all the government. The Controller General will consolidate, confirm, and do a report to send to the Auditor General. Auditor General audit the accounts, and then through the PAC of both houses of the legislature report to the Liberian people. So I wanted to give that as a background. Now, coming to car power. Firstly, let me say this. I became Minister of Finance late September 2024. By the time you were recasting the budget, and that by the time of the recast of the budget, you did not retain the car power appropriation, because the car power, I think when you were crafting the budget in March and April, there was an intention, because budgets usually look in the future, intentions can be captured in the budget. There was an intention, given the power situation, that we might have needed some stopgap intervention. So $6 million was put in the budget for potentially concluding some agreement with car power. But what I'm informed is that as time eventuated, the executive, the consultations with key members of the legislature, it became clear that the country could not go the car power way. So the information I can tell you now is that not a dime was spent on that car power, on car power. Usually, when appropriations are in the budget that we as a government do not spend for the original purpose, sometimes they become a saving grace for government. These in-year budget pressures that come. Like this morning, we're talking about, unfortunately, we're planning a by-election in Nimba for one of your colleagues, and we don't know whether we will have another by-election. Another by-election as a result of that. If given the, no, what I'm saying is that based on those that are running. How about that? Kuga is in the race. So I'm not implying now the by-election. You know. So as we speak, the next folks are in.
Okay, folks, I'd like to say welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight on this edition of the program. This is Spoon Late Night Show, or the Late Night Show on Spoon. I'm Nelson Colette. Thanks to all of you joining us tonight from across the world, across our social media handle and on radio. We want to welcome you to Liberia's most listened to nighttime program, the Late Night Show, the Late Night Politics on Spoon. We are here tonight. Live across the Spoon Network, Spoon FM 107.5. We're live on Fabric, Radio 101.1, and several other frequencies across the country. I want to say thanks to our affiliate radio stations that will most times relay the program across the country. We appreciate you for making sure that Liberians across the country are informed every single day. Well, we're here tonight. My name is Nelson Collet. It's going to be a spirited conversation tonight. A lot going on across the country. And gradually we are adjusting to skipping the Mondays and Wednesdays, due to some adjustments that we have to make. But I want to say thanks to all of you who are here tonight. Many thanks to you who will most times, we get tons of calls whenever the show is not coming on. That says the extent to which you appreciate the show, you follow the program, and we want to say thanks a lot to all of you as well. In the comment section, you have a whole community there where you get to engage, disagree, critique, and just have your say there. And we appreciate you for that. Please share the program as you come on tonight. Kindly share the show across your different social media handles. Let's hope we can have a great show tonight. Again, thanks for joining us on the late night show. Let me welcome a few of you before bringing the team on. I see Nathaniel K. Hill is here tonight. Thanks for joining us, Nathaniel. Alice Band is joining us from Iowa. Rufus Quenan, thanks for joining us as well. Samuel Kofi Woods Jr. is here. Edward Stewart Jr. Coco Zakura is joining us as well. I see DJ Do is here. Hipko Kazi joining us. And I see Domowa Collie is here as well. OP O'Neill Johnson is joining us tonight. Eric McGill via YouTube, and I see Joki, and then henceforth Cooper is here as well. Moses Momolu and the rest of you joining us tonight. We appreciate you for coming on. Let's hope we can have a great show. A lot to talk about tonight. Let me bring the man, CDC Australia. No. CDC Australia, Josh Wheeler. Yeah, CDC Australia, Josh Wheeler. The man said he's now growing the revolutionary hair. And when he came to Liberia, he said, "No, Nelson, I will not cut the hair because this is the revolutionary hair. I'm a militant. Militant Adiolo. Militant Adiolo.
Nelson,
CDC
look, my
Australia,
man.
George Wheeler. Thanks for joining us tonight. It's good to have you on.
Thank you, Nelson. Thank you. Yeah. Now the hair I will get Dillon out of the Senate here. Now the hair, yeah. So
But how many of you from the
2029,
CDC want to get Dillon out?
we'll
Senator
get you
Dillon
out,
is
man.
getting pretty tight, and you guys say you want to remove him. I see a lot of people from the CDC want to remove Senator Dillon. Is it like a nightmare for
No,
the folks in the CDC? Is he giving you
we are
guys tough time?
no, Nelson, we are doing it for a mom and dad, for a father and mother, because he made a shame plenty. So we want to take him on that so he can
I will
continue
not
making the
pass
shame.
that whole I made my marching, I made my passion, will not pass that stage. Look, and I like the way the senator put it once. He said he brought the sword to Paul theory.
Mhm,
You know
mhm.
that Bible
Yeah,
story where Saul was
I
persecuting
know.
people.
Yeah.
So
But
then there's
I
somebody
think
was
Paul
not call the name, but
going back to Saul. Paul going back to Saul now.
he said somebody was Saul, but it wasn't change your Paul. So but later after Saul changed to Paul, then Paul and the
Yeah.
senator still fell off. I don't know if you understand anything, Josh. Saul
I get to you.
changed to Paul, and the senator
Mhm.
made the case for Saul.
Yeah.
But after Saul changed to Paul, and the senator, was more like a John the Baptist telling the people, hey,
Mhm.
don't judge the man by his yesterday.
Yeah.
The man was Saul before in the loyalty party, the man are Paul, the man finished changing. But after the man changed from Saul to Paul and the senator still fell apart. So then who get a problem, Josh? Who really
That
get
is senator. That is senator. That one we're moving from there for. Look, man, few people have not changed, but the people have changed, right? Yeke Kuluba has not changed, people have changed. and honorability has not changed, but people change because of their position, where where the support lies. So that's the whole thing. But that's what we'll get rid of. We'll get rid of Dillon. He must go to Grand Bassa to contest there. We're taking him from Monserrato.
Senator still has
Definitely
a strong
has to
hold.
happen.
But you're talking about long time. Anything can change politically.
Exactly.
Anything can change between 2029. That's a long time you're
Yeah.
talking about. So yeah, this is where we are. But George, it's good to be here tonight.
Fantastic, man. It's great to be here.
I'm
I'm excited.
Welcome, and I want to welcome all of our folks as well.
Mhm.
A lot of the guys said they're coming on tonight. Gradually, we adjusting to this, to skipping Mondays and Wednesdays. Because most times I have the Capitol building on Tuesday.
Mhm.
I gotta get up early to be there, and then
Monday,
yeah, and then Thursday as well. Yeah, but it's a good thing that we're here tonight. A lot is happening across the country,
Yeah,
Josh.
nothing. Anyway, just a proposition, but you can be my campaign manager, in 2029. So hopefully you'll be able to do that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Listen, Josh, to
Mhm.
be a campaign manager, it means
Mhm.
that I'll have to resign from mainstream media.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I want you
I
to
can
do.
be in a space as a journalist and be campaign manager. So resigning
Definitely.
from mainstream media, which I've had so much passion for, and going to be a campaign manager or your media strategist or whatever, it must be something very lucrative. Very lucrative.
Exactly. It will be. It will be.
The budget is being worked on, because you started playing the thing since 10 years ago.
Look, liberating a library, people, developing library is a lucrative thing, right? And it would benefit you a lot when that happens. So I don't think personally you should, you'll be rewarded, but holistically, library will be rewarded for your efforts.
You want me to go use my effort, then you tell me God bless you, my son.
The other reward will be in heaven, my man.
Then at the end of the day, you be in your office and you join, but you say thank you, my brother. You did it for
Yeah.
I did it for Liberia, but you enjoying, you benefiting. But for me, I did it for Liberia, but you come on.
That, you're talking to so because all the training he was sending to other guys, he was sending abroad to go for scholarship. All of them sending him
Forget Senator Dillon's fault. Forget Senator Dillon. I know. Don't kind of use me to the senator. But Cindy, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Here. Good evening from my end. How you doing?
We're good, Cindy. We're good.
Sandy, do you really believe in politicians telling you, thank you, let's do the thing for Liberia, we're doing it for Liberia? Do you really believe that saying when politicians tell you, okay, say for example, Josh wants to run. Now Josh is telling me that, oh my man, when I ready to run, you'll be on the team, on a campaign team, you have to leave mainstream media. Then he say, after everything, you will tell me, thank you, I did it for Liberia. Do you really believe that thing when politicians tell you you do it for your country?
I mean, there are some politicians that are in the business for country.
Like me.
And there are some. Unfortunately, we get to see the majority in our country that are into politics are there for their own pockets. But Nelson, if you have been around other governance systems, you will see that there are politicians that genuinely get there for their country. Several of them here in the United States, they will fight for their country. So hopefully we can get there one day. I mean, we supported President Bouaga because of country. I didn't come here because I wanted anything. So maybe you can support George because of country.
Thank you, Sandy. I appreciate that.
Sandy. I'm talking about that whole, let's do it for the country thing where we do it for the country now. We finish doing it for the country. At the end of every month, the man getting 7,900 plus his gasoline plus the other allowance. After every 3 years, he getting for the 5,000 car. Meanwhile, we all did it for the country, but he alone getting all that thing. So what? After doing it for the country now, what am I on the benefit in the whole thing? And that's the question.
But that's the unfortunate part. That's really the unfortunate part.
You really dealing with Senator Dillon to know.
No, no, I'm not dealing with the senator. That you are dealing with.
The man scared. He's scared.
No, I'm not dealing with the senator. That you are dealing with. You say moderate.
Nelson, one of the things that always, like you see me, I don't support the CDC because I want a job. I know it's an honor, to represent one's country, to serve one's, country and people, right? And
Mhm.
when the right time comes, I will want to do it. But I don't support the CDC because I want a job. I just feel like the joblessness in Liberia is high. Like for instance, we got, it's say 85%, right? I got a job here. Why should I leave from here and go add myself on another or reduce some opportunity that somebody should have gotten to go and occupy it? I don't feel that it's a good thing to do. I don't think it's a nationalistic thing to do. I think we should help create a better Liberia, right? And from afar, like what my brother Sandy is doing here, even though now he sugarcoats everything that has to do with this government, he will water it down to make it look soft and everything, like you do to Nelson, two of you. I think I said, I think the chat was just a while ago. But the thing is that we want to contribute our culture
You
to
think
our,
you think I
our country.
sugarcoat things? You
Yeah, you
think
water things down to sound a little bit not harsh. Even when I'm talking to Senator Dune, he say, "Oh, you water it down, you bring it down." But Nelson, sometimes the
you,
reason why we come here is to express ourselves. But if anything we say, you water it down. You do it, you put water on it to get
you
full.
know,
It's just
George.
it is what it is. Yeah.
Some people are militant, and some
Hmm.
people are peacemakers. The
Hmm.
militants cannot be the peacemakers. The peacemakers cannot be the militants. But the society need the combination of everything to have. Yeah.
No, I understand, Nelson. I understand, and you are such you do it very smartly.
But,
People say
but I know where you're driving, guys. It's a good thing to be here tonight. I want to
it
welcome
is.
everyone. Yes, a lot is happening across the country. Let's do just a few. Let's touch on just a few of the many updates. Then we're gonna move in to the conversation. Uh, to the conversation tonight. Well, there's been a lot going on. In fact, we weren't here yesterday, last evening, so we didn't get to touch on some of the happenings. But there's been a whole lot going on across the country. Um, well, where do we start from? Representative Yeke Koluba, as we speak, is being investigated. The lawmaker of District 10, Montserrat County, the man who was elected by over 14,000 residents of District Number 10, Montserrat County, the man who stood tall to Speaker Buffer Chambers and others and told them that, look, you are bare ball to President George Weah. The lawmaker is being investigated. But the question is, why is the lawmaker not forming part of the investigation? So there was a complaint filed against Representative Yeke Koluba by the representative, the River G County District 3 representative, Johnson Williams, that the lawmaker is disrespectful. According to Representative Williams, Representative Yeke Koluba is rude, disrespectful, abusive, and he went on to say that the lawmaker insults. He accused the lawmaker of even insulting religious leaders, lawyers, women, prominent figures in the country, and repeatedly disrespecting the president of the Republic of Liberia. All these allegations against Representative Yeke Koluba, he wants action to be taken. He's calling for a strong action to be taken against the District 10 representative so as to set a standard at the House of Representatives so as to set a deterrence for a would-be Yeka Koluba maybe in the 50, 56, 57, 58, or 59 legislature or whatever time, so as to set a deterrence to ensure that nobody ever try to repeat what Representative Yeka Koluba is doing according to him. And so once the complaint was filed, there's been an investigation going on. The first hearing, Representative Yeka Koluba did not appear. As a matter of fact, the hearing is being presided over by the chairman on the Senate's Committee on Rules, Order, and Administration, Representative James Collette. And so Representative Yeka Koluba, on the other end, have said that he will not submit himself to the hearing, investigation, or whatever that's going on. He thinks Representative Collette and the other lawmaker from Rivers says they don't have the legal authority to question him. So he thinks no, he cannot submit himself to whichever investigation. He has branded the group as junta, and he said he cannot submit, or he will not submit himself to the investigation that's currently ongoing at the House of Representatives by the Rules, Order, and Administration. Well, there's a pavement going on. Road connectivity has always been a concern for Liberians. The corridor you see there is the Medina to Rabasport there in Grand Cape Mount County. Construction work is ongoing. As most of you may be aware, Grand Cape Mount County is one of the beautiful locations in the country. It is a center of attraction. You know, people go to Grand Cape Mount County and they're regretting. They're thinking, is it possible to airlift this area and reposition it somewhere in Europe or maybe in the US or somewhere? Sandy wanted to do that, but it's not possible. So, but in the midst of the natural features and everything, how beautiful the county is, road connectivity has always been a problem. And so pavement work is ongoing so that you can drive from here to Grand Cape Mount County in no time. You do what you want to do, and then you be back. So yes, that's one of the updates to pull up quickly. Now, but aside from that, there's still a lot going on across the country. The president renewed the executive order for the asset recovery team. So the executive order is active for 1 year. Thereafter, the president will have to renew it. And so the president did just that. The prolonged court case is one of those things that, delayed progress or whatever from the angle of the asset recovery team. So the president reissued an executive order. Let's say renew the executive order to ensure that the asset recovery team can continue her work. But the big question is, this asset recovery team, does it still have the momentum? Does the asset recovery team still have the energy? Is it equipped? Does it still have that morale to recover government asset? Is it going to get the support like what was anticipated from the very beginning of it? With the way the whole gracious wrath thing and everything has come into the picture, with all of what we're seeing, can the asset recovery team really, actually recover assets as per the expectation of Liberians? Well, that's a question plus so much more there with the asset recovery team. The management team, the new management team at the LEC have taken some actions as part of their reform and whatever they're doing there at the LEC. they've decided to um suspend some expedited fees or service fee that has been charged over the time Liberians have been charged. So you take, for example, and I'm laughing because I have a personal story with this whole fee thing. You go to get your meter. You say you want steel coring. You want to be part of power theft or whatever. You go to get a meter. They tell you to pay 150 to expedite the process. And so that's something that's been going on for some time. And so the new management team took over and they have suspended that 150 USD that people have to pay. So interestingly, you know, let me skip that. But yes, so they've canceled or suspended. So it's suspended, which means that at some point they could, lift the suspension till it can be canceled officially. It remains suspended, and this is where we are now. A lot of you followed the update from the court yesterday when the Supreme Court finally sent a citation or a notice to the legal representatives of both the minority and the majority blocks, informing them that the Bill of Information they pray for to have the Supreme Court to further interpret her ruling. They're going to do it on the 14th of March. So the both parties have been notified. Now the big question remains: what is the Supreme Court going to tell Liberians, or what is going to be the Supreme Court's position? Is the Supreme Court going to tell the both parties that ultra vires we talk about, we still stand by that statement? It mean that you're gonna go back, you're going to make law. Is the Supreme Court going to tell the majority bloc that you are wrong and the minority bloc is right? Or is the Supreme Court going to tell the minority bloc that, look, you don't have a quorum, in fact, there's no rule in place, or whatever, you are in the wrong, the majority bloc is doing the work of the Liberian people? Considering that this very majority bloc have passed a budget that all three branches of government are now receiving pay from, including the judiciary branch of government. If the judiciary tells the majority bloc that she's in error, will the judiciary also be dragging herself for operating within a budget that was passed by the quote unquote illegal group? And so there are so many questions, so many concerns with respect to what the ruling would be, or what the actual interpretation of the Supreme Court would be on this particular issue. But they're expected to do this on the 14th. And a whole lot going on. We don't have the luxury of time. So the LSCC, maybe we'll end here. The LSCC is calling for the establishment of an anti-corruption code in the country. The LSCC thinks that this is the only way they can effectively do their job. So the chairperson, Councillor Alexandra Zoe, they've been pushing this call. They want the establishment of an anti-corruption court in the country, and to ensure that they can adequately fight corruption across the country. So these are just a few of the many updates coming from across the country. Of course, a lot of you heard that the High Court, the Supreme Court, placed a stay order on major corruption cases in the country. This stay order is now going to put a halt to proceedings in the case involving former Finance Minister Samuel Twe, we should have in fact they should have had one of the hearings today. This order was issued today, but they should have subsequently had another hearing and stuff like that as part of the process. But there's been a halt to it. So why this the entire process is being put on a hold? The court will be having a conference with the different parties on Monday. That's the 10th of March. Yeah, so yes, a lot more, but let's go into the show. Let's do our opening, and then we can officially start the program tonight. Let's start with you, Josh. What's on your mind?
Oh, look, Nelson, just give me a second there. Yeah, so Nelson, thank you. What I want to speak about is, in my opening, is about the Supreme Court. Nelson, we came on here, and some of us are being exonerated by this latest move by the Supreme Court. We came here and said, for the Supreme Court to give a vague ruling on a case that has a propensity to cause chaos in the country is telling. And I was here and I accused them of taking bribe for doing that.
So
Nelson,
you want to go back and maybe take back that accusation, that grave allegation against the High Court, especially now
Nelson,
that
no, I'm not prepared to do that. And here's why. Now that they have come to themselves, Nelson, listen, I said those words even before the bill of information was taken to them. Nelson, they rejected looking at the bill of information from the minority bloc. Nelson, that tells you that this was a calculated move by them to ignore everything and thought it would go away naturally, right? Like Liberia thing. When you're talking, you can only talk for 1 week, then it finished. Nobody hears about it, nobody talks about it, we move on, right? But it didn't happen for this one. Because Nelson, for all due respect for our country, we need a country that will move forward, Nelson. I know Liberians, we have short memory span, right? So most of the time we say some things and then we just forget, and then that's it, it's over with, right? But this continues to drag on, and I want to thank the Speaker Kofa, for sticking by his word, for putting a foot down and say, well, if Liberia has to change, it must change from here. We cannot afford to go back in the days and live that same type of life because it happened before, so it should happen today and we let it go. No. And I stand with him, I stood with him, I continue to stand with him, and I want to thank him using this opportunity, Nelson, for standing by his word. You know, man is nothing without their word, Nelson. And because he stood, the former president also, Eli Johnson, said he spoke on the same thing, Nelson. And these guys, they realized that our sanction was going to be on them now, waiting for them, or something terrible was going to happen in the country and everything was going to be blamed on them. So Nelson, they have come to the sense that they now want to change to give a ruling on the same application that they rejected.
Josh, I hope we're getting this thing. The Supreme Court is not coming up with another ruling. No.
Yeah,
the Supreme Court is coming in here at this point to interpret the ruling that's already out. And
Nelson,
again,
they rejected doing that. They rejected doing that.
Your previous position on this issue, especially against the High Court, you know, was wrong because it's optional. The Supreme Court, and I have spoken to so many legal practitioners, and what I've gathered is that it's optional that the Supreme Court could decide to interpret her ruling. The Supreme Court could decide not to interpret the ruling. Because
so Nelson, here's the thing.
If the court came up with a particular ruling, is written in black and white, they're not going to put it the bitter boy and pepper way. They put it in a way where at least someone who is letter should be able to understand what the court is saying. Well, if you have another interpretation, well, it's up to you. But just conclude so we get
so Nelson, That was where the accusation came about, that these guys were playing and they were being bribed to play the game that they played, right? Because the first ruling was vague. Nelson, you cannot give an instruction in a ruling, right? And that ruling be vague that anybody can interpret it. Nelson, for instance, writers, we that write, or people that write, right? When they write, they know they won't be there to explain it to you, what they have written, so they will make it very explicit, right? In the process, that be what explicit means, to make it clear that you cannot miss it, right? But Nelson, these people gave a ruling that anybody could interpret any way they wanted to. And they did it strategically because they didn't want to give a ruling on that, because they were bribed, Nelson. And we stand by our accusation of them. These guys, what they did to the country.
I won't stand by that accusation.
Okay, I stand with it.
I don't stand with that accusation. So when your rate come for you, we'll send it straight out to you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Nelson, send it to me. I'll receive it.
Yeah, Nelson, and I apologize for going in and out, just taking care of, business.
I understand.
Well, I'm going to get out of the liberal politics for a second and reach across to Ghana and just wish them happy Independence Day. Ghana got her independence. Well, was that 67 now? What? How many? 68. Yeah, so 68 years ago. So happy independence to Ghana. Nelson, I don't want to jump into the topic. I don't know if we're going to touch on the issue of Yeke, all these things you outlined.
Yeah, we're going to take. Yeah, we're going to just all those talking points.
I look forward to a great show, and I just want to say, yeah.
Thanks a lot, Sandy. I just hope, I just wish George had done his opening like this. Then we are going far in the show now. But now,
but knows that he had love, but he not make it.
But I want us to move into the show. Chokon, welcome to the program. It's good to have you on tonight. Now, there's a lot happening across the country, a whole lot, and I want us to start the conversation from here. What is happening with the city of Monrovia? What is happening to Monrovia? Maybe that's a question we need to start asking ourselves. Okay, so most of you followed keenly, very closely, when we did a series of live videos, live broadcasts at the Center Street. On several occasions. The streets were very filthy. The streets were dirty. Feces all around the places. And all those kind of different issues. We went to this very spot. We spoke with some of the disadvantaged youths. Mm-hmm. We highlight those issues. We highlight how filthy the place was. At some point, the MCC put up a big show that, we are expanding our facility. We are doing this. In fact, there's a ban, there's a closure to this other place, the Center Street. In fact, nobody throwing death there again. But what's happening with Center Street, guys? These photos you see are recent photos from the height of Monrovia. And sorry, I hate to put these kinds of things up, but this is the reality. So now the big question is, this is something we saw during Jefferson Koji time, Mayor Jefferson Koji, at the time as mayor of Monrovia. It was a major issue again in the country. Is it that only Mayor Brock will handle these kinds of issues? But after Mayor Brock, all the other people that have been coming at our MCC, these are the issues we've been having. Has it gotten to a point where we need foreign mayors to come and help us in this process? Maybe, because just looking at the Center Street, the height of the city right before us, it has gone back to where it was, if not worse than the situation we saw it in some time ago. I want us to just take 1 minute across the board, each on this particular one here. Center Street. Let's start with you, Josh.
Look, thank you, Nelson. It's just an indication that these people were in opposition, and they will say, "Oh, Jefferson Koji is incompetent. He is this. He see that Gucci clown." They start calling all sort of names, Nelson. That's what the people say and I will just borrow from my brother Asido, who say you will lie to get into power, but you cannot lie, continue to lie to remain there or to propagate your messages. You cannot lie anymore. The reality will be right there. Just like you used to say, they say the mistake of a doctor is buried, but that of an engineer is there for everyone to see. That's what's happening now, Nelson. These people lied about everything. They said Judicial were incompetent. That was the study was dirty. Now look at what is happening, Nelson. It is a shame. And Nelson, this is only not because the money they said Jefferson Koji was stealing. They are now stealing the money more.
But George, in all fairness, politics aside, is it a leadership issue or is it a systemic problem that we have to address as a country? Is this something we should put only on the mayors or whoever the mayor is of the city? Or is this something that the Liberian citizens themselves need to work on? Because just looking at the photo there, you can compare this to what we saw on a former mayor Jefferson Koji.
Yeah.
And now coming back to the same situation, what does it say about the country?
So Nelson, politics aside, and this is what we continue to say. But instead of other people addressing those issues, they were putting on Jefferson Koji, right?
So you want to follow that same trend? You want to use that same?
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because I'm a Liberian and I'm a patriotic Liberian at that, right? The thing is that, Nelson, there is a systemic problem. Okay, Nelson, speaking to you, for almost 3 years in the city that I live, I was the project manager, right? For all of the waste removal system here.
Raymond coming for you.
Remember, Nelson, I work for a contractor, not for the government, right? The government gave us a contract. The city government gave us a contract, and Nelson, that contract worth almost $33 million a year, right? Just to remove rubbish from the city. So Nelson, here's what happened, right? There was a different contractor who is assigned at the waste facility where we can just go and dump the dirt and move on there, right? They will process that dirt, right? For I had about 20 trucks that were taking dirt from around the city every day, Nelson. Every day the bin will be full and we'll go and collect them. Nelson, we don't have that kind of system in Liberia. Because what happened now, and guess what, Nelson? I used to have 4 trucks.
We have that system. I think we have that system. And that's why I'm asking as to whether it's about the system or about leadership or what exactly is the problem. Or is it about the citizens? Because I want you to pay keen attention to the photo here. All right? If you look there, you see the small, what's the name for it?
MCC1.
There's a name for those little tractors and stuff. The name is escaping me. But you see them, those little tricycles, but they have some
they
name.
Got a name, logo name, okay.
Yeah, so you see the MCC1. You have different smaller, groups that are working or that in some, arrangement with the MCC that are supposed to be taking the garbage from those different points, carrying it to somewhere designated that should subsequently be removed from there as soon as possible and carried away. Why exactly do we find ourselves in the same position? The streets are getting dirty.
So Nelson, look, since you said this, I will have to, maybe reposition myself here, because I thought there was no process like that. At the time, there was no local contractor who was doing these things. You know what I mean? Like moving the dirt from tricky areas and bringing it to an open area where the bigger trucks can take them. But looking at that, I think it is leadership problem, Nelson. Because with leadership, you are not going to say. Let me tell you, one of the things they used to say is the city mayor. No, that's not the city mayor's job, right? The city mayor position is more political, right? But there are technical people working at that place. They got the project officers. They got all sort of people that work in the city council, right? They are the one responsible for those things. But everything is the president, and everything is the mayor. That's the Liberian way of doing things. So I think it's wrong, and the blame should be shared.
Sandy, let's hear your take on this one. Why do you think we stay at this point? Is it with leadership? Is it with the system? Or is it with us, the Liberian people, who can eat a paper color and throw the dead in the streets, the water plastic and the cold water bag, everything all around the place?
Nelson first established here that managing waste in any given country is a serious work.
Mhm.
It requires serious leadership. It requires serious enforcement. It requires serious measures. The great United States, and Trocon is here, he will agree, is one of the dirtiest places in the world. I'm not going to lie to you. You
Okay.
find several cities across the US that are filled with trash. City like Philadelphia, even the great New York. You go to places like Washington, D.C., as soon as you get outside of the National Mall where you have the White House and all those big buildings, you get out of that place, you start to see filthy trash. City like Albuquerque, where I live, filthy trash. So it is not just a Liberia thing. Now, it's Liberia.
Okay, no. Sandy, I'm coming. Let me interrupt you there a bit.
Yeah.
If it is not just a Liberian thing, if it is a major work, you know, and this is something that Liberia is not the only country that is battling with,
Yeah.
then is it fair to say that some of the laches that former Mayor Jefferson Kochi received, he shouldn't have received it the way he did, the way it came upon him? Is it fair to say that um, uh, uh, um, uh, um, some of the analysis, you know, with respect to the condition of the city, the way the issue with the filthiness of the city was being presented was not fair to.
Nelson,
Mhm.
Nelson, good question. But here's the thing. The problem with our governance system is that they do not communicate. They don't talk. They don't tell the people the truth. They when they also have the opportunity to serve, they have hidden agenda. They embezzle some of the funds that are given to them. So in return, they don't really share with the people the major problems. But let me end on my note. So I mean, I will say yes. I will say this, Nelson. Um, Jefferson Kochi, as the leader of the city, will have latches. The current city mayor will have latches. People will complain. People will talk. I started off by talking about the United States. The difference between places like Liberia and the United States is that here they have the equipment. Here they have the resources. So let's say it will be dirty for maybe a day or two, but you will see that they will go around, collect trash, they will go around and clean up. So it won't be as consistently messy as we see it in Liberia. Nelson, the issue with trash is mindset. People generally, we humans, unless we are forced to, we tend to just drop things. You drink a bottle of water, you drop it. It happens here in the US. Nobody should lie to you that it don't happen here. It happens here, but people are very careful because when you are caught, you will pay fine. But people still
Okay,
do it.
so Cindy, what I'm getting from you is that you think that this thing is part of the human nature,
The
is
mindset of humanity.
is about the mindset and all of that. But is there any way possible? Could we have avoided getting at this particular point?
Yes. So that pile, that level we have over there is the difference. You will not find that anywhere in the US. You know what they will use? What in major countries like the United States, they will use that power in fact to produce energy because they have the equipment, they have the resources. They will collect things like that, so they won't allow it get to that point. They will never allow it to get to that point. But you'll still see some little trash here and there around, but we'll never get to that point, right? What we need to work on is to ensure that it never get to that point where we're seeing it. Our city mayors, our city governance need to take cleaning the cities very serious. The citizen will drop, they will litter, they will put things around. But you have the responsibility to clean your city. That's your job. If you don't have the resources and the equipment, you ask for it. And when
Thank
you are giving, you utilize it. Nelson, let me end with this. One of the places we need to start, some of the approach we need to do here is, Nelson, we start with those that own the stores, those that are
you. Mhm.
selling on the streets. Let's start with them. Nelson, if you go in front of the stores, I did a video on the Robert International Highway around the rehab area, right around President Boakai House. I have a place there. I was staying there when I was the last time in Morovia. Right around there, Nelson, you find major stores along that street. The gutter, the one we call gutter in Liberia, the drainage. Nelson, that beautiful street, the gutters are being filled already with trash. In front of stores, in front of stores, the government need to target those stores. Secondly, we need to minimize street vendors. We need to reduce street vendors. Let people sell in designated market areas. But when you have people just selling all around, everywhere, as people buying from you, they are trashing. As you selling, you are trashing. Nelson, we need to minimize that.
Thank
When
you.
we can target those areas, I think we can get ahead of these issues that we have now.
Thank you very much, Sandy. Chopin, you want to just zero in on this topic? We want to transition quickly.
Yeah, like excuse me, like everyone else, I too believe that waste management is a critical sector that needs some level of attention. And the issue about waste management, I'm not going to holistically believe that it is a leadership issue. I think we are not leveraging our innovative skills to make sure that we solve problems in the right way. Let us forget about political background, but CDC was in power and the guys from the other end criticized that being in the street. Granted, Liberia was dirty. I saw it. As a responsible opposition, the expectation is, having seen the dirty on the street, try to do either a root cause analysis to understand why the government is not taking proactive steps in ensuring that they address that issue. If that is done, because I think the issue about trash in Liberia is not really about the government doesn't have the capacity to collect them from the community. But I think we don't have, after collecting them from the community and placing them to maybe substations or probably taking them to the actual station, what are we doing with the dye? The dye remains there. So the government need to make sure that they try to develop innovative means through which we can try to collect the dye and be able to do something with the dye. Because if we take the dye to Winston, where they are taking the dye right now, and we are doing nothing, whenever Winston is full, they put fire on the dye. Which of course I think that is not a sustainable means through which we should be managing our waste. If we do lack the capacity, we have friendly partners. I think our mayors are always traveling to Sierra Leone and other places. Try to share idea and learn how you can streamline our system to make sure that we are developing proactive means through which we are handling our waste in the country. That is number one. Another thing is that even if the government have the best the best method to resolve the issue about waste in Liberia, they need to engage the people in the community. And engaging the people in the community, they can do that in two different ways. The first way could be through engaging into what we call behavior change communication. Like, let me just partially agree with Cindy because I haven't done a research on it. If it is true that humans are built in a way such that after eating banana, we just want to put the trash right here. How can we engage the community to make them to be able to dissolve or package that trash in a way such that it doesn't cause health issue for the people in the community? So the government or the city management have to make sure that they are engaging the community, making sure that they are trying to build this partnership so that they can all work together collaboratively to make sure that we are putting the trash to the right place and the government is collecting it and making sure that it is taken, because
Thank
the people in the community will get frustrated if they are placing the trash, for example, at the junction, and after like 2 3 weeks the trash is still there. When taxi is about to pick them up, the taxi cannot pick them up. Mosquito increasing in the community and all of that, that is going to frustrate the people and they will definitely not want to venture into any such process. And another thing is that since our people are not too used to the waste management thing, maybe we should find a way to we can incentivize, we can use a community-based approach to incentivize the people in our community to make sure that they are contributing in ensuring that we are cleaning our community. Probably that could be a means through which this is going to reduce. But on the other hand, I think the city management needs some resources, and it is not just financial resources, it could be expertise in ensuring that they are putting in the right measure in place to take the trash to the right place that they belong.
Thank you, Chokon. Thanks a lot. I want us to
Nelson,
I want
please,
us to transition actually.
just 1 second. I also I wanted to add a quick piece. I agree
One
with
second.
everything.
1 second is up.
I agree with everything Trickles there. Nelson, but when you also look at our communities in most African countries, we don't have community roads. We barely have any sort of alley. All the alley areas have been built on. The people are so congested in one areas, right? Everyone in the same area. They don't even have the trash can to pick up their trash. And even if they do, there are no trash company to
Yeah.
collect those trash. So the whole system is just, you can't just put it on the people themselves too. I think that the system really have to work for the people too.
Thank you, Sandy. Thanks a lot. I want us to transition. There's a whole lot to to touch on, and we have limited time to do all of that. But the District 10 lawmaker Yeke Koluba is being investigated by his colleagues. You are in the classroom, and one of the students in the class say the mayor can cost people too much in the class. They making talk bad thing. He doing something that undermines the integrity of this class. So we need strong action to be taken against him. That's exactly what happened with Representative Yeke Koluba and Representative Williams of Riverside County, the River G County, sorry. So the lawmaker complained Representative Yeke Koluba for constantly insulting. What are the allegations against the lawmaker? I want to go through them one after another. According to him, Johnson Williams of District 3, River G County, is accusing Representative Yeke Koluba of constantly disrespecting, behaving in a disrespectful manner, being very abusive. Aside from being abusive, he's accusing the lawmaker of insulting women, religious leaders, lawyers, and some permanent figures in the country. He's also accusing the lawmaker of repeatedly disrespecting the president of the country, President Joseph Yuma Boakai. And now he's calling for strong action to be taken against the lawmaker of District 10, Montserrat County. But one thing to note here is that this lawmaker was elected to do the job of his people. So what sort of action does he want the House of Representatives to take against this lawmaker? Now, upon filing this complaint, the Rules Order and Administration took the issue. They've called Representative Yeke Koluba multiple times, and he has said that he will not subject himself to whatever investigation. So the first hearing, he didn't go. The second hearing again, the lawmaker of District 10, Montserrat County, did not go. Johnson Williams, this is what he said in the hearing today.
The microphone, and he uses the microphone not to address the speaker as a speaker, not to recognize him as a speaker, and refer to him as a junta leader. It's an insult. It's an insult. He's standing in plenary, abusing the privilege accorded to you by the Constitution, that what you say cannot be used against you. That's violation of the Constitution. That's not what the Constitution says. So those are the three instances on a single day. On a single day in plenary.
Thank you. Before coming to the issue of John Tan, I'm still on our rule 42.2. Besides the issue of the section, notice of that to be indicated in the records, and judicial will say, well, committee members will take judicial notice. Okay. Besides, you may not have it now as this.
Okay, so I mean, it was a whole long hearing today. We don't have the luxury of time to go through everything, but you listen to a portion, a part of the complaint, or the issues raised by the lawmaker against Representative Yeke Kolba. Let's start with you, Josh. What's your take on this one?
Nelson, my first inquiry is there a new lawmaker? Has he just been elected into office? Okay, if that's so, then I'll tell you, welcome to the legislature. We saw this 6 good years. Our vice president was insulted publicly. Guess what? Who was supporting her? Those in power now were supporting him. They supported him while we were complaining. So Nelson, while I don't agree with the representative for his actions, I feel like we breed these things, right? We nurture these things to grow, right? When they are grown and then want to complain. When Representative Kolba started this thing, if he were going to be vehemently resisted, but the man he called junta leader now, that the junta leader used to say, little people that are down there, let's go outside, let's go talk. Forget about the people. Making him to grow more wings, Nelson. So look, these people have changed, but Yeke Kolba has not. And I think why it is a sad thing to say, but it's the reality, Nelson. These people made Yeke Kolba to be who he is, and they cannot resist him now. I was in Monrovia. I was at Lone Star Gas and Lone Star headquarters. I was buying a SIM card when I saw Representative Yeke Kolba parading the street with his. That's when they announced him as a winner. He had all the keke boys behind it. I said, Nelson, no car could pass on the road. The place was crowded, and I was shocked. Why was they were happening? Then he said, oh, that Yeke coming. I said, you see people in the streets with him. This is the person I used to insult the same way he's insulting. I think even better now. This guy has gone from 2.0 to 1.5 or something. They shouldn't be complaining, Nelson. These people should be cheering him on, because these are the same people that were cheering on. So, look, Nelson, I don't really have any fish to fry. Yeah.
Was it wrong yesterday?
It was wrong, Nelson.
Is it right today?
It's wrong, Nelson. That's why I say I disagree. But Nelson, these are the people that made him.
Does the lawmaker raising the issue? Now, I understand the aspect where you say the lawmaker is new. Welcome to the legislature. Does he have a point?
Nelson, he has a point. Nelson, I've said this thing over and over on the show. Now, Nelson, I don't want my kids to listen to radio and listen to an honorable man using vocal languages, right? Or maybe, being abusive to people, and just being unruly, right? We used to say this thing, but when we used to say it, Sandy then used to say, your leader, man, I had to make an express himself. They said I had to make an express himself. You can't tell the man how to express himself, how you express himself. These people, they groom him, Nelson. Now how they made him. And now that he's turning against them, now they want to complain. I'm sorry for the representative who have just come and feel that this is not normal. And definitely, honorable man, that is not a normal attitude to exhibit as a leader or as an honorable person. But that's what the legislature made. They made a guy who will insult people into submission. He will abuse you until you'll be afraid to even say anything. Yeah, so that's what it is.
Sandy, let's hear your take on this. Take 2 minutes quickly, and then we go to Choker.
I think George will agree here that I always disagree with how Representative Yeke Kolba present his ideas.
Okay, Sandy, quickly, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Were you a supporter of the ANC?
At one point, yes, I was a supporter of the ANC, yes.
Was Representative Yeke Kolba a member of the ANC at one point?
No. Let me clarify. Let me re-clarify.
No. Please,
listen.
I know we kind of drive somewhere.
It's very important that I clarify. It's very important that I clarify. I supported Alexander Benedict Cummings. I was not involved with anything ANC. I was solely in support of the platform of Alexander Benedict Cummings.
So, was Representative Yeke Koluba one time
Yes.
a full member of the ANC?
I would say an affiliate. I don't know if he was a member because he flip-flop a lot.
Okay.
So I would say an affiliate.
Okay, so affiliate, whether affiliate or strong member or founding member, he was a member somehow. So, was there any official statement from the ANC regarding the conduct of Yeke Koluba?
I am not a member of the ANC, and so I rather speak for myself, Mr. Jalahu Bajibo Sandi. So let me speak for myself. I'm not a member of the ANC. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead. Make your point.
Look, Nelson, I totally disagree with how Yeke position himself, how he present his disagreement. I've said that over and over on this show. I think the House of Representatives is an honorable house that must be respected. We must have people that are mature, people that can present their ideas without being verbally abusive to anyone. But this is this guy character, right? And it shouldn't be excused. However, the lawmaker who is presenting this is new. If he wasn't new, he will know that in Liberia, lawmakers are protected by parliamentarian immunity.
Yeah, but he stated that. He stated that.
Yes.
He said he may insult, but he goes out and said nobody can do anything to him because he said it on the floor. But Cindy, there's a whole argument about he being new. Is it possible for this man to be in this country following politics, even up to the time he was campaigning in a district, and say he didn't know about the conduct of Representative Yeke Koluba? Is it possible? Is he really new to this thing, or is he just trying to make a point?
No, I'm sure he knows. I'm sure he knows Yeke. I'm sure he knows about Yeke. I mean, it's an okay thing to flag, but will it go anywhere? No, because folks like Yeke are immune to any statement they made during legislative session. So that is, you cannot legally persecute or question them for
I disagree with you, Sandy. Because most of the degrading statement the guy made, he does not make them on the floor. He makes them at home.
So then you still don't disagree with me. I said doing legislative session. So what is your disagreement? I have not.
My disagreement is that what we are talking about.
Listen. I have not spoken to Yeke making any statement outside of the session. I'm coming to that point. So what is the disagreement? We are saying the same thing.
Nelson.
In section.
Let's give our brother his time.
Let me flow.
We're gonna come to you.
In section, Yeke is immune. There's no disagreement there. Outside of section, Yeke is not immune. But there are laws also in Liberia that provide for free speech. Has Yeke made any speech outside of section where he was verbally abusive and that his statement became defamatory, that his statement became inciting violence, that his statement were threatening public order? If Yeke's statement were threatening public order, if you are being insightful, if you are being defamatory, yes, then we can bring him to the legal book. Then he can be questioned legally. But is Yeke just insulting verbally? We saw what happened between Judy Andy and this guy that we call Prophet Key, George, former classmate. Where did that case go? The Lord said,
and George used to spy from the man. George used to spy from the man when they were in class.
Exactly. The Lord said the man was only causing my cause. He didn't do anything harmful to Judy Andy. So if Yeke is only being verbally abusive, he's not being defamatory, he's not inciting violence, he's not threatening public order, it will go nowhere.
But Sandy, considering the issues now that one of his colleagues is raising, his point is it's not just about Yeke's conduct on the floor. in plenary. He's saying that the man insults women, he insults religious leaders, he insults lawyers, he insults prominent people in the country, including the president, is in disrespected repeatedly. And he wants an action that will set a deterrence at this point. Is it possible? Because Representative Taliban on one end said in the first place, the only way the thing will go anywhere is when you're seeing me. I'm not coming there, and I recognize you, and I see you, and I'm not part of it. So, Cindy, where are we headed at this point?
The
When the
law in
man
our
is being investigated himself is not forming part of the investigation.
Nelson, we say we are a country that was built on Christian principle, but then we copied the constitution of a country that was not built on Christian principle, the great United States. Yeah, you can cause the president of the US, you will still walk the streets of Washington, D.C. Nobody will flock your butt. I can stay in the middle of D.C. and say, Donald Trump, you're big head. Nothing will happen to me. Then Jack and doing the same thing like Liberia. Then the other person, because you get causing president, he causing bishop, he causing lawyer.
Bishop, religious leaders.
Look,
and these are the issues that the lawmaker has.
Nelson, if we want to be a religious country where we are against cursing, let's change the constitution. Our law says cursing is not a problem in the country. I just gave you an example. Prophet Key, curse. Judy Annie got angry, she cried. The same government that we're talking for here now say, Prophet Key did nothing wrong to you, man. He only cursed your man. Move on. Until Yeke can incite violence, defamatory, cause public disobedience or disorder, Yeke will cause from now to judgment day, nothing will happen to him. Move on.
Thank you. Chopin, you want to zero in on this talking point quickly, then we transition.
Yep. So my opinion is probably going to be a bit different from some of us, but let me start like this. Liberia is one country that practices representative democracy, wherein we cannot have 50,000 persons going to the legislature to represent themselves. We elect one of our own, which by assumption it should be one of our best to go and represent us. That means we as Liberian people, regardless of how hard this might sound or hard, we should try to improve the quality of decision that we make. We should send people to the legislature to represent our best interests. In other countries, before people elect lawmakers, they conduct different kind of analysis. They do like one of the analysis they conduct is called a gap in the market analysis, where you look into your district, listen to all of the different platforms, and select the person who's going to benefit or represent the best interest of your district. That is the person that we elect. But until now, I don't know on which basis we elect people. In my thinking, I think in a civilized society, Yeke is not fit to be a legislative material. I'm being honest with you. And he's not the only one. There are other folks in government, whether in the legislative branch, in the executive branch. I think they are not qualified to serve in some of the positions that they are serving in. So again, I'm going to repeat: we as Liberian people, if we want the best for our country, we need to ensure that we work on the quality of decision that we make as a people. If we keep electing people that Yeke, and we expect Liberia to transform to Dubai or to the United States, trust me, we'll be playing because we haven't reached to the point where we have run short of men. I'm talking about people in Liberia. There are people in Liberia who have the quality, the best qualities in different areas to represent our country. So why are we making bad decisions? How are we electing people? Because I'm not too sure you can influence anybody with cash. I think he never had money. So something must be wrong somewhere, and that is something that we as a people we need to go and sit down as we go to the 2029 election to know how to elect or select our lawmakers, our president, and what have you. That is number
Thank you.
one. Number two, the guys who are questioning Yeke, how legitimate are they? Because personally, I do question the legitimacy of that team that is investigating Yeke. But to the point that was raised by the freshman lawmaker, I think he's right. Whether he's a new lawmaker or he's an old lawmaker, no lawmaker should be in the house insulting president, insulting women, insulting people in government. As a lawmaker, you should be issue oriented. There are a lot of issues that we should be discussing that we are not discussing. Why is it that we should be fighting? We should be fighting and diverting our attention to things that will not benefit our people. So I think the guy is right. Apart from the issue about cost, I'm not too sure if Yeke is adequately representing those who elected him, and as such, that is a national concern. And I think his action from the time he got elected as a lawmaker, it has always been a national embarrassment. It is still a national embarrassment, and I think that is something that need to be worked on. We as a people need to be decisive and take some hard decision against some of those actions. Because there are some young people who coming up, leaving high school, going to college, and they are seeing Yeke as a lawmaker. When some of us in the legislature tomorrow we are discussing critical issues, those people are going to be talking about, they're going to be engaging the entire parliament like people like Yeke. Because growing up, that is the kind of lawmaker that is saw.
But
And
but but
some people are so sound, but because Yeke is causing and making all of the reckless noises in the house, people will listen to Yeke more than some of the good things that people be saying.
Choco, given how far we've come, is it possible to reverse this vehicle that's already in gear number 5? Is it possible to put a halt to this particular thing? Because there was a famous video of the Lawmaker sometime back in 2018, I think, where he was standing on top of the car and telling the police, 1 or 2 at a time, Marvin Sakor, that you can't do anything to me. You can't how do you call it, my vehicle? You can't arrest my vehicle. Meanwhile, his vehicle was driving a turn lane. The 1 or 2 police deputy for operations at the time noticed the vehicle on the turn lane, decided to engage him, and he wasn't he wasn't in the vehicle. It was a driver. Tried to impound the vehicle. Driver called him. Oh, your vehicle is about to get impounded by 1 or 2. Then he got on the scene and prevented. And for sure, he stood on the vehicle. He prevented the 1 or 2 from arresting the car, and the vehicle was not impounded on grounds that he is a legislator and that there's a law that protects him. While he's going for session, he can use the opposite lane and nothing should happen. So from 2018, when Julius Barron was removed, the people of District 10 replaced Julius Barron with Yeke Koluba. From 2018 up until now, we're in 2025. Is it possible, Trukon, to have a legislature where a Yeke Koluba will not insult anybody, will not make use of the provision of that their law that says you are immune to lawsuit and actions and all of those things once you say these things on the floor?
I think there's still a possibility for us to check or break. And that possibility starts from some of the engagement that we're making right now, telling our people how to vote people of quality, making them to understand those who we're going to be electing, what they should be doing in the house and what they should not be doing. With those kind of education, if our people start to gain consciousness, whenever, whether it is Yeke or whether it is the guy from my district is underperforming, they will definitely collect signature and go petition the house to impeach them. And I think if we start to take some of those action, it's going to serve as a deterrent to other people who will come and want to walk in the path of Yeke. You can be critical. As for me, I'm a critical person. You can take the hard line sometimes, but it is good to attack the issue because you are elected to be an issue-oriented person. You should be addressing national issues and problems. You cannot be causing your colleague, you be causing people in government. And he did it to President. We are some of us who condemn it. People say, "Oh, you see this man, what you're saying it," but it's a bad precedent that we all set, and that is something that we need to work on right now. And I hope the people of district number 10 will take decisive action. And I'm just hoping they're not going to be removing Yeke if that will be their decision to go replace him with another Yeke. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Sandy, you want to say something quickly just before we transition?
Yeah, please. You know what I'm saying? I hate to agree with Tricon all the time, but I agreed again tonight. You know, I agree. I think educating our young people, especially the voting population, we will start to see some transformation. It will start with who we vote into power. We need to know those that we are voting based on their characters, and not just based on them giving us back a rice or giving us, little cash around election time. But I think subsequently we will get there, and we must continue to provide the education to the voting population. The other thing, I talk about the law in our constitution. It's so sad. Today I posted something in our chat room. Ghana flag was designed by one lady, a single person, right? Designed beautiful country club. In Liberia, we took 7 ladies to copy the US flag, and then
Sandy, I beg you, man.
no, 7.
So, 7 women, but all they could do was to copy and take all the stars from them, replace it with one star.
Ghana used one woman to design their country flag. We took 7 to copy the
No,
US.
but Cindy, you bringing something. So
No,
it means
but
that the ladies, they were taking the star one by one from the flag.
One by
One person that only care, one person that because
what? The 7 of them sat down and decided to just remove the star small. Then when they finish it, then they say they get flag. Then we start to celebrate. But the point is, the same way they copy and paste that flag, that's how they did to the American Constitution. Article 1, Section 6 of the American Constitution gave the same rights that people that Yeke are using based on the Liberia Constitution. It gave them, in America, they call it the speech or debate clause. The speech or debate clause. That means they can go to they can go to session, debate any issue, and they cannot be held. But how many times you see American lawmaker causing man cause because of that law? You don't. All they do is the speech protect them, or that clause protect them to debate and argue and put in their position. Then you will not hold them for that debate, but not to go cause man calling section. So we need to also really look at our constitution. Is this constitution working for us as a people?
Thank you.
That.
I'm hoping we can run on the remaining 2 topics and just open the lines. But it's serious. They have major financial sabotage cases that are being investigated in the country. One of them being the one involving former Finance Minister Samuel Tway. The recent action from the court was a slap in the face of the legal representatives of Minister Tway when they lost the case after they prayed the judge to dismiss the entire case. And then Councillor Arthur Johnson came out and said the judge took onto himself a power that he didn't have. In fact, the judge was in the wrong. Meanwhile, he lost the case, but his client was in the background smiling. But we're at a point now where, following that decision, the justice in chambers, the Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia, the justice in chambers, Her Honor Siane Clinton Johnson, placed a stay order on the ongoing trial involving Minister Samuel Tway and others at the Criminal Court C, Temple of Justice. So, in other words, the court has halted the proceedings. And the court is calling all of the parties to a conference on Monday. A conference has been organized for Monday, the 10th of March. And this particular action is coming from the backdrop of a recent decision that I just mentioned. There was a rate of prohibition put forth uh, by the legal representatives of Minister Twe, or former Minister Twe, to dismiss the indictment against the defendants, and that particular motion was being denied by the presiding judge, Judge Roosevelt Willie. It was denied. And so, following the denial of this particular writ, this action is coming from the court. And the amount we're talking about here, I saw the last time I remember we had this conversation, a lot of people came up, including our own brother Josh, and I hope Josh can come back on tonight. I think he's making some adjustments in the background. Famula, welcome to the show. The last time we had this conversation, Josh said, no, the money too much. That money too much for us to be talking about. But the money we're talking about is huge. The withdrawal of unauthorized funds in the tune of 1,055,152 Liberian dollars and 500,000 from the Central Bank of Liberia. I mean, with this recent action from the court, what does it say with regards to the fight against corruption? What are our respective analysis around this issue? What are we going to see next? Hold the case. All of you come for a conference on Monday. Are we going to see the Supreme Court telling the judge that decision you took was not good? I mean, and the reason why this is of concern to a lot of people, because this case will be a precedent case, or where there's some missteps for which the justice in chambers is now trying to get that judge sit down in that conference and hold an ear small and say the other one you did was not correct. I mean, what does it say about our country, the system, the fight against corruption? I want us to start from here. Let's take 1 minute each across the table on this one. Let's start with you, Francis, not Francis, but Cindy.
Nelson, for a stay order to be placed, there must be some reasons. I don't know if I heard you state the reason for the stay order, or I don't know if the court provided reason for the stay order. I know they are calling for a conference, or to
a conference with all of the parties.
Conference to be heard on March 10th. So I don't know the reason, but there are a category of reasons that must be outlined for stay order. Okay, is there an appeal? Did Samuel Toer and his team, are they making an appeal? Okay, are they making any appeal? You know, if they are making appeal, the court may pull halt to the proceedings so they can call a conference. I think, I mean, without knowing the reason for the stay order, this could be a possible reason, right? Is there an appeal coming from the defense team? And is the court now looking into that?
And there was one appeal, and that's what a lot of opponents now, analysts are trying to look around, because this is coming just days after the motion or the appeal to dismiss the case was being denied.
So that
right after, even the legal representative of former Minister Twe said that judge proceeded wrongly on camera.
Right.
All right. So yes, let's see on this one.
Pending appeal, or even dismiss appeal could be a very major reason why the stay order was put in place. So the Supreme Court, in its wisdom, could say, okay, because of that appeal, let's call it party. Let's look into the appeal. Is that a reason? I mean, is that a way maybe we can consider, or the appeal can be considered? So instead of you continuing, the other court, instead of you continuing with judgment or with this case, put a halt to it. We want to call a conference. Maybe we'll look into the appeal. Another thing could be that Samuel Toy and his team could maybe feel like that their rights are not being protected, right? So maybe they have complained that their rights are not being protected. And if that is the case, then the court could also put a halt to this case.
And you have a point here, Cindy.
Yeah.
You have a point here. Because on that very day when Councillor Arthur Johnson came out, the argument he presented was that there's a presidential immunity that should cover agents of the presidency, such as former Minister Twe. And the condition, the atmosphere under which what happened was based on presidential instruction or to secure or for the security of the state. He mentioned specifically to protect the country in a crucial election, during a crucial electoral period. Right. But then the LSCC on one end is saying that, look, the money we're talking about here, we did our investigation, but there's no trace. There's no communication from the president, no letter from any of the institutions, but there is an evidence of the transfer of the fund and a withdrawal of the fund on the same day.
Right. So yeah, it could be that they're in the game, that saying that their rights are not protected. And I'm going to end on this third note, right, Nelson? I'm not a lawyer, but I also know that one of the issues usually debated in court is the issue of jurisdiction, right? It's possible that Mr. Toy and his team maybe will be complaining whether the court that is handling this case has jurisdiction. Are they uncertain that this court has jurisdiction or any authority to hear the case? So there could be a lot of questions or reasons why the Supreme Court in its wisdom think that there should be a conference. Now, after the conference, the Supreme Court can decide whether they should release the case or allow the court to continue on hearing the case. And then subsequently a judgment should be passed. Or then the Supreme Court could decide and say, look, based on the conference, maybe we have come up with a conclusion, and then the case could end there, right? Or with some agreement, some sort of a agreement between the defense folks and the government. Then they could come up with some sort of a statement telling the court that we have agreed, or maybe there's a settlement, right? So there are many reasons why it's not a bad thing. So I just want to send this across. By the Supreme Court coming in and say, hold this case for now. We need to have a conference. It's not a bad thing. It's a legal proceeding. It's not a bad thing. The Supreme Court is not saying that Samuel Todd is free. The Supreme Court is also not saying that the government is right. The Supreme Court is the higher court in the nation. If they see that something is going wrong or something that they need to intervene, they intervene. So in this case, they are playing like a mediator role to make sure that both parties rights are respected and they are heard. So it's not a bad thing.
Well, thank you. Thanks a lot. Shokon, you want to come in? And then Fambola will take us home on this topic. You are muted. I don't know why we're not hearing, because I don't see any mute sign.
Thank you. Can you? That's it from over here.
Okay.
Yep. From what are you doing? Let me start by telling everyone that I'm not a lawyer and I'm not going to pretend to be one. But this case is one that have to do with a lot of sensitive financial information. And before I can speak further on this topic, I am opposed to corruption, regardless of whoever is involved. And my opinion is, if a person venture into any form of corruption, whether we live in the same house, we from the same political institution, I will only recommend that due process must take its course before action is taken against a person. It should not be on the basis of our perception. It should not be on the basis of our feelings or based on people's political affiliation or what have you. So for the simple fact that I'm not a lawyer, I follow the case, but I follow the case from the surface. But let me tell you something. We have something in Liberia called the Banking Secrecy Act. The Banking Secrecy Act is a financial management tool that deals with finances going in strategic areas. For example, this case, if I'm not mistaken, it had to do with financial intelligence or national intelligence, which is a sacred aspect of our security sector. And even when it comes to national budgeting, budget relating to national intelligence or certain security operation, especially ones that have to do with covert and overt operation, they are not being discussed in the public based on its sensitive security nature. So, hearing the Supreme Court calling for a conference, that could probably that could probably be to inform the judge, the subordinate judge, that based on the sensitive nature of this case, there will probably be a reason why this case should not be heard publicly, and maybe a different avenue should be used in order to properly adjudicate the case.
Um, Chokon, sorry, I want to interrupt you a bit. Um, I gather when you talk about the Banking Secrecy Act, and you know, certain financial appropriations or expenditures should be uh should be kept secret. Let me put it that way. Uh, Based on the security nature of the spending and all of that. Um, but Chokon, do you really think that the LACC, the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, uh, as an institution set up comprising of legal minded, I mean, individuals, people who are well learned, do you really think that, considering this is something that fell in line with the Secrecy Banking Act, and the security nature, if it's something that would temper or expose the country security wise, do you really think the LECC will make public the information she has made public surrounding this particular case, especially when the LECC said that they carry on their own audits and everything, but there's no trace of how of requests for the money, but the money was transferred into the account that withdrew the same day.
Yeah, and that could be number one. It could be for the reason of corruption, as we are assuming on the show. That could also be for
No,
a
I'm
secret
not assuming.
for a
No,
secret security
I'm not
operation.
assuming.
That could be for an operation, because if there is an operation, an urgent operation, money can be put in this account, it can be diverted from account A to account B. So we cannot assume. Like, I think if anyone try to assume right now, our assumption might not be right. It would be good that if there's not a precedent case that we have in that nature, we should
Mhm.
probably ensure that we have the right people to properly adjudicate this case. Like anyone else, I'm a student of money, and 500 million is not a small amount of money for us to talk about. But like everyone else, I wouldn't want to assume either. I think the best thing should be done. We should get the right people to properly adjudicate this case so that we can come to a proper resolution. And if a dollar was taken from there illegally, whoever took the dollar, they should be penalized. But my recommendation is we should get the right people, because it is only the right people will be able to fully adjudicate the case and not penalize people illegally based on their political affiliation or based on our public perspective or assumption about them. Because let me tell you, before the CDC left power, a huge portion of the Liberian people believe that Jefferson Koji, Minister Samuel Twe, and that of Nathaniel Magee, they were corrupt people. They had $7 million. And I think someone else, I listened to OKFM one morning, and a guy said that President Weah had a room in his house full with US dollars. How unrealistic that could be. So I don't like to dwell on assumption, and because I'm not a lawyer, I just think we should allow the Supreme Court to perform her role, and
Okay.
hopefully they will do what is right for Liberia.
Family, you want to zero in on this one? It's already hit 3 a.m. now. I think we should be winding down. But
Yeah. I mean, thank you very much, Nelson.
no, Famole, your audio is terrible. You want to log
Yeah,
off and try to log in again or what?
it's really bad.
He sounded good for us.
Nelson,
hmm
what happening to your sir?
I think Famula go ahead. Nelson will come back.
I think it's because we used to you having the microphone and maybe
The microphone that you few days ago, and
the
somebody said,
microphone small?
no, it say I said got my microphone, but the guy said it was not sounding. The
Oh,
man
okay.
said it was not sounding well. Don't mind that, man.
So you hear me now?
Okay, I think we can manage with that.
Oh, you
Yeah.
can manage with that. Or the guys ain't finna getting me. Jarau. All right. Anyway, sometimes it kind of very hard when you come late on the show and then you have a lot of pressure on you to wrap up and you have so much to say. But let me just weigh in on that. From our inception on this show, we all agree that corruption is a primary source of the backwardness of our country, and corruption has diminished our people, and nothing else it has done for us apart from distributing poverty and diseases among our people. So anytime we see cases of corruption, it is a national concern for all citizenry. You know, that case with Samuel Tue, we know that this government going to use that case as a litmus test, or going to set precedent, especially free thinkers, charging President Boaka to ensure that this case do not go like all the other cases that have been happening. Remember, Nelson, in our country, the Liberian people have cried out a lot about the justice system, and they have cried in a sense that justice is never for the poor. And many a times, people who have money, they always trample over people who don't have money, especially when it comes to cases in the judiciary. So, because of the corrupt nature of the judiciary, we hope that that conference they are going on or they are going for, Samuel Tue will not go over there and say, gentlemen, yeah, why it is true that I get it 500,000, but I can give you 200,000, and they manage the case here, go somewhere away. But I'm just saying, I'm just assuming without
Famole, you sound like Josh accusing the judiciary of being bribed, and that's why they came up with ambiguous ruling.
look,
Listen,
Nelson, I don't want you to agree with me, and I don't want you to assume or for you to
okay,
try
I'm not
to
disagreeing
modify.
with you either. I'm not agreeing
So
with you.
we all know this. Look, if you even take a microphone, like how you Spoon did and went around asking people about the country economy and how the living condition of people looking. If you take the same microphone and go around and ask the people about the same justice system, how the cases are being handled over there, they will tell you the same thing. So it's an old age problem. So this time around, we are saying the justice ministry or the judiciary branch should do everything in the interest of the state. Why it is true that some people attaching this case to be, can expose the security nature of our country, can put our country as huge security risk. They should not be followed, or they should not fall under that cloud and think that somebody going to steal money and say, oh, it is of national security interest. No, let this case be followed to the court, and let us have a comprehensive result. If it's going to be settled like how Bernie Samoka case was settled, and concession made and people restitute the money, let it be made. But I know that this case here, the GSC has substantive evidence that money was taken out and it was misappropriated because they have no trace of it. So all of the grammar, all of the intellectual muscle, all the blogger can come around and go defend their whosoever they want to defend. But in the end, we want for justice to prevail. Thank you, Nelson.
Well, thanks a lot, Fambole.
And quickly, Nelson, sorry, quickly. I came on the show purposely for one thing. Sorry, I came late, but that issue about Honorable Yeke Koruba. I know I'm late, but let me just.
We're not past. I hope.
I know. Let me just demystify something that Jarawu said. Thank God he's here. That Jarawu are keen for. Jarawu said on a show that somebody can come to Washington and cause President Trump and nobody can beat that board. But I'm telling Jarawu that is a misinformation. You cannot come to Washington and cause the president like the way you get Koruba cause people in like bro, and you think that people are going to tell you, say, oh yeah, go sit down home to your horse. That's not true. You get Koruba use the invective that Yege Koruba uses in Liberia is not that kind of a one that you're going to use in Washington and somebody going to tell you, say, go sit down home, nobody will be you. That's not true. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, okay, no, I know we passed that, but are you talking, when you say somebody, are you talking about authority or just somebody who favor the president, like anyone on the street? So obviously Trump have supporter. If I should, Nelson have supporter, Fambula have supporter. I should call Fambula in public, maybe one of his supporters will come and jump on me and fight. But are you saying the FBI will arrest me for using verbal, languages against the president? Is that what you're saying?
Okay, so guys,
don't want to go there. Thank you, Nelson. I know you want to go, but they kind of for tune in the languages that Yeke uses in Liberia. Like somebody telling you,
will arrest you. No,
they will arrest you.
No,
you cannot
don't
try
lie.
and tell the president
Don't
will.
lie,
You
my
say,
man.
you say the way Yeke Koruba can tell President Baka that you will die will go for you.
So, gentlemen, we have to go. Let's give the audience a time to call in. I don't know who will arrest who. Whatever the case is, we will get to know when we're doing our closing. But 0555101075. The rest of the other issues we will go on them tomorrow. We have a lot to unpack tonight, but this is all we've got time for. But we discussed the filthiness of parts of the city, looking at it from all angles. Why are we to where we are? Talking about the center street that once was, that everybody looked up to as a very clean place at some point is now very, very filthy at the moment. And then we spoke about the investigation that's currently ongoing. We represent Yeke Koruba. He's being investigated. One of his colleagues had filed a complaint against him for constantly behaving rude. According to him, he's accusing Representative Yeke Koruba of being rude, constantly insulting women, religious leaders, lawyers, and repeatedly disrespecting the president. And he wants for a very strong action to be taken against Representative Yeke Koruba. On the flip side, we just had the conversation with the decision from the justice in chambers to halt the legal proceedings of financial sabotage until a conference on Monday. So let's hear your thoughts on some of those issues tonight. 0555101075. I'll put the WhatsApp up. Hello, your name and where you call from.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's hear you.
What really happening in the prayer is that ignorance is not good. You see, always some people wondering why it is that if people will go to the house there, they will always be talking about, or let's say party business. The country is in Liberia. We all should put together and get the country far off. Whether John Brown is president, the other all put him behind John Brown, and we'll see how far John Brown will play for the country.
Thank you.
When John Brown in the town finish, Lucy can we all put him on Lucy and see how far Lucy to carry
Thank you.
Or relation. So I really understand.
Thank you for your input tonight, sir. Let's hold you there. We'll take just 5 calls. Hello, caller number 2. Let's hear you.
Yes, hello. Good morning, sir.
Morning. It's good to have you on.
Yes, thank you very much, Nelson. Nelson, I mean, I enjoy the conversation from Cindy Trocon, but please have your guest speakers like George coming in desecrating the Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia. It is not fair because you cannot charge the Supreme Court telling them that they are corrupt. This is completely wrong. I hope you will be able to correct these kinds of things here because our young children growing up, our citizens, have the trust in the highest court of the land. And we cannot continue to always bring them down because the same thing we are condemning, people condemning you from doing, is what George does on your talk shows. Sandy, I support you. I enjoy your conversation. You did say you're not a lawyer, but all that you said there made complete sense. I enjoyed it. And also, Trukon, you did your best. But George, please, George, don't bring in partisanship in the conversation. It is not correct. And sometimes George is very, very rude on the show.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm Councillor Sharif.
Oh, okay.
I hate to hear people condemning the Supreme Court. Now, you talk about Supreme Court putting staff on the case. The procedure of the court, if people who listen to the conversation are being educated to understand that these are the processes that cases go through. It is not unique to Samuel Twer case. Even Gloria Busu's case, it was the same thing. The judge, the Supreme Court halted certain component when the other party is not satisfied with the procedure, just as Sandy explained. I don't want to repeat all, but as Sandy said, when the other party is not satisfied, it is your right to run upstairs, Justice on certiorari, so that you can tell them the way they are proceeding is I'm not satisfied. It is the justice in chamber that will tell you, listen to your argument, the two sides, and then we decide either to tell the judge, go back and proceed. You are not proceeding wrongly, or you are proceeding wrongly, as Sandy explained. So please, let us try to respect the highest court of the land. I beg you.
Thank you.
Melvin.
Thank you,
very
Council.
much.
We appreciate your input on the show tonight. Thanks a whole lot. Let's see if we can take this person. Let's take at least 2 calls from the WhatsApp line. Hello, you're live. Let's hear you.
Yeah, Trevor, good morning.
This is Nelson. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Yeah.
And I call you from Prince Street and Satama.
Satama.
Quickly, let me first remark formally on this show. The airplane are talking to America is not the last thing that brings information here. Let me tell us which are the law, under the American law, that if somebody walking in the street and you put a helicopter profanity on the president, you'll be arrested. That's the first thing. The second thing is the issue of Yeke Koluba. The action was wrong yesterday. It should also be condemned today. When you look in the face of one or two, in a short trial, the same people in power now were the people that were hearing him. In fact, to a wider extent, all of their campaigns area, they were using Yeke Koluba as people, as voice of the people, and other people left their districts to go and register to make Yeke representative again. So quickly to the issue of the former finance minister, I don't want us preempting what will happen in the conference. Let's also have respect for our people and have respect for the justices. Let's wait and see. We shouldn't eat our cake before our birthday.
Thank you.
Now we're allowing others to go on.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you very much. And man, eat a cake before your birthday. That free party you have, no cake. Yeah, clap your hand. And then you're done. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Good morning.
Morning, yo. How you doing? Huh? The internet. I don't know what kind of call that. Hello? Hello?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Nelson.
Morning. Let's hear you quickly.
You see, what good for John is also good for
Yeah,
Paul.
but please say your name first.
This is Daniel from 540.
Okay.
You know, what good for John is also good for Paul. Yesterday we were saying the thing that Yeke was proceeding wrongly. Yeke insulted the president, insulted everybody. We said that we should vote Yeke out. You saw that other people left that district to come in District 10 to come vote there for Yeke. They just brought the problem to us. We said that Yeke was not a good person. So we put Yeke out. And they say United Party people left from district. Everybody took in here to come and vote. You see the kind of vote that Yeke got? It's not good representatives. But because people don't want good to happen for the country here, so they always bring in the bad person. So that's why they brought Yeke. And they thought that you are going to win so that Yeke can stay on your rear. This is what happened. He's
Thank
in
you.
a woman now. He's sorting the woman every time. It's not correct.
Thank you very much. This person, hello, quickly, let's hear you.
Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, you are the final caller. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for your story.
You are very low. Can you be audible a bit?
I want to talk on your quarterback issue.
You want to step up your voice a bit? You come in very, very low.
Huh?
Okay, so please change your location and call back. Please. Let's take this WhatsApp call. Hello.
Yeah, good evening, Nelson. How are you? This is Alita Ban. I'm calling from the United States of America.
Okay.
I would like to give my contribution tonight. I just wanted to educate my brother family on a statement he made earlier about if you go to Washington, D.C. and you made a statement or you insult Donald Trump in the way that Yeke Karuba does, you will be held accountable or so. But that is absolutely wrong. It may not be right, but it's not a crime because we have freedom of speech and expression. That's our Fifth Amendment right.
Okay.
And also to the Supreme Court issues. What I would like to say is that the Supreme Court is one of the highest decision-making body in our country. It is something that we have to respect because if we lose trust in the Supreme Court of Liberia, who do we run to? So we have to demand transparency from the Supreme Court of Liberia to make sure that it does what is right and what is needed to be done to make sure that whoever done crime or is held accountable. Nevertheless, the Supreme Court is the body that has no means and manner to compromise its laws for the interest of a government or for the interest of how people feel or their personal feelings. So to that effect, we watch and sit back, trust the justice systems of our country, hold them accountable, hold their feet to the fire, and make sure that transparency is the order of the day. And the key thing is nobody should be feared. Whether it's the executive branch of government who wants to put individual because they are in opposition political party or once were in position that they felt that things were done, even though those things had alignments with the law. That is also things. So we cannot lose trust in the Supreme Court of our country. That would be Liberia to a sense that in a dilemma stage because we already have no hope in the executive and losing trust in the judiciary branch of government would be a further thing for our country.
Okay.
And thank you for having me. That is my input for tonight.
Thanks a lot, Alita, for your input. We appreciate your contribution tonight. Guys, we have to close. We're out of time. I want to say thanks to everyone calling in. Sorry, we can't take calls now. We are seriously out of time. But why are you holding your microphone in your hand like you come and sing from
Oh man, I left my microphone stand all the way back there. I was using it for something else.
In the chat, say praise on your account and you do man holding microphone. Praise the Lord, my man.
You don't want to actually bring the microphone. The microphone I lay somewhere that you don't want making me to bring it
but
up.
the audio is better with the microphone. I think without the microphone, you have terrible, very terrible audio. But Sandy, you can do your closing first. Let her maybe standing with a microphone in your hand. You know, he will be the last.
I mean, I thought it was a great show. You know, that our country, there's a lot of work we have to do. I have hope that Liberia will get better. We spoke on the issue of cleaning the city is very important, not just for the face of the city, but for our health. So I hope that Liberians, us as a people, can see reason to find ways to just clean around ourselves and clean the city. But you can't leave it with the people. The government must take strong actions, strong measures, provide the necessary equipment that are needed to clean the city. is important for everyone health. On the issue of Yeke Koluba, I mean, the representative raised a very good point, the guy who raised the point, but again, given the current law of the country that give people like Yeke some level of, protection, it's not going to go anywhere. And apart from his, legislative protection, our constitution, again, we follow the United States. And you can have, they can cause cause it goes nowhere. I gave a case here with Prophet Key. That case went nowhere. It's unfortunate. I don't support that. I will never, never in my life physically or verbally abuse anyone. And I would not support that. But the reality is we have a law that does not favor decency to some extent.
Thank you.
So there's a need that we visit our laws. Nelson, thank you for the show. I felt it was a great show on the issue of the finance minister. Let's hear what the Supreme Court will say. Thank you.
Thank you. Josh, you want to take just a few seconds to close?
Look, thank you, Nelson. And sorry, gentlemen, I had to my system wasn't working properly, so I had to
I mean, you went in the background to eat. I saw.
I mean, I go eat. You guys say system. I go your system on that working. And I other system.
You put beans today.
That system on that working.
Go ahead.
You guys, you put up too much conspiracy theories. Anyway, look, the thing is, thank you all, and I want to thank our commenters. A lot of things, go on there in the comment section, but thank you for being with us. Nelson, because I put my big computer on, I was watching the show with you guys, and one of the topic was with the finance minister. Nelson, we want a law that is impartial, and we want a legal system or judicial system.
Point of correction, former finance minister before somebody.
Okay, the former finance minister. Now, see, the thing is that, like my brother Trogon said clearly, explicitly, I don't condone anything that has to do with corruption. However, even the most criminal in the world deserve a defense, right? Anybody, you cannot just look at someone and say you're guilty, and the law, has to take its course. So we look forward to an impartial dispensation of justice. We hope that we'll have a fair and equitable result from this process. That whatever comes out should be a justifiable end to this process, and hopefully we can move Liberia forward, because what we need is a better Liberia. We don't need George Weeder, we don't need Jokon, we don't need Nelson, we don't need Sandy either with doctorate degree. We don't need him. We need a Liberia that is equitable, that everyone can survive, and there's a fair go. Like I was saying in Australia, we need a fair go. So thank you. God bless you, and God bless Liberia.
Thank you. When Sandy get his doctorate degree at the end of a one more semester that remaining, the man say anybody you not calling Dr. Cindy on the show, you'll be in serious problem.
You're not answer.
3 more classes left.
Oh my God, we are in trouble.
Get on to a family meeting, but must have a daughter degree pay him and bills. They can tell me I'm calling that.
When you call it data, you in
Bring
trouble.
a place to watch a microphone for you. That
is important. That is important. If our brother Cindy get a doctoral degree, I think he deserves your respect, because doctoral study is not something for fun. That is no joke. But anyway, let me start by appreciating all of those who on the show tonight, the panelists, those who are watching the show from Liberia, the United States. I want to appreciate you guys for all of your intervention. And I think it is a good thing, it is healthy as a people for us to keep sitting around the table to discuss national issues and pour for recommendation for the way forward. That is the only way our country can lead in the right and proper direction. I'm smiling because of family. He's trying to describe me. But anyways, I'm leaving this show tonight with a fear, and my fear is due to the insecurity that we are creating for our generation. I'm not talking about the Joseph Boakai, President Weah, and what have you. I'm talking about our generation. For example, if I leave from school in the United States, move back to Liberia, live in my community, battery factory, I'm going to be surrounded by a group of young people who are some of them educated, some of them are not educated. They don't have a job, and I'm going to be living among those people. That is a huge level of insecurity for all of us. I'm going to be living in a community that I cannot come home after 10 because I'm afraid that Zogo going to check my phone. I'm going to be
And
teaching.
everybody knows you to
I'm
be
going to be.
monitoring the community and all of
I'm
that.
going. I'm going to be working as a teacher in Riverside County, and I'm afraid that my wife, when she's pregnant, she won't be able to give birth. I think the government should make education a priority. And I'm going to
Yes.
conclude on this example. If everyone is buying rice from the market in red light, and the government at a certain point decide that they're going to provide free rice for everyone in Liberia. Subsequently, the government come back and determine that the rice in Liberia is not something of quality for our people. So because of that, it wouldn't be free anymore, but the people will start paying for that same rice that is now of quality. That is the highest level of illogicality anyone can explain. The Liberian government should think about the provision of free education for our people, and that should not just start with the university education, but also our people in the communities in rural areas. And we should also make sure as a country we should start working on ensuring that we add quality to education.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I really do appreciate the time tonight.
So we all stay on and we go together. Family, take 1 minute, and
Why you reach me? You tell me to take 1 minute. All the other people were talking. They all say,
because we have
so when it come to family, they know all the time.
yeah, president.
Because your president wasn't back and take too much time.
Let me just go in. Taking my time already. You see, I will say congratulations to my friend Sandy in advance, but I have this old story that my uncle said. He was a doctor, and when he came back to Liberia, he got his doctor in education and something like that. So the news reached the news reached the village, and my grandma, my great grand was happy. She was happy because somebody already told her that your grandson is a doctor, but she did not know that doctor was a doctor in education. So when you hear doctor, she just thought ain't know it was doctor for injection. So when she was celebrating, she was dancing, passing all around. Then one of my auntie went there and pinched her and told her, say, and because she was telling the people, say, at least my pin are in my back. My son coming, when my grandson coming feeling my pin. They pin again. So when my auntie told her that, but that man, not doctor for injection, that doctor for broken. She said, no, I don't have that doctor. So saying that a doctor when you can't, you go in that interior with it. If you have doctor for injection, you put that one you
We have to explain it to the people.
Okay, you have to distinguish. You say, oh, they want that doctor for injection. So you must let them know that two different doctors. Okay. So what a great show. It's always good to come on. And, Liberia is all we have. No matter what we do, we're always going to go back home. And the only thing we can do is to continue to say positive things about our country. So that, because if you retire from America and you go back home and the country stay the same way, it kind of like you're not secure to that area. You always want to run and come back. So home is always home. And this is the thing that we have to do now to breed the new set of people that we're having now. Because if you have people who are level-headed, the country will not be stagnated like the way it is today. Because if we letting people into power who doesn't understand the basics, and they're going over there and they're creating chaos for our people. So, for instance, now there are people like Yega Koluba now. You know, like Yega Koluba now, he does not have much to offer, so he will only revert to invectives and use languages. And you see the tactics now in the house. Yega Koluba does not understand anything. He goes to the house every day and they escort him out of session. So that's and we give him, and we still paying for not completing session. He's been thrown out all the time, and we still paying him. So Liberian, we have to open our eyes now and change the narrative. People will not, it's not common for somebody to just stand in Washington and just quote the president. The how Yeke does. It's not only about cursing, but the languages that Yeke uses, he's not only about cursing, he's threatening, and also he's causing serious, things. So on our basis, he can be held accountable. I know my friends will not agree with me to some extent, but not only for cursing, there are other ways they can apprehend Yeke, and he can answer to the FBI, or he can answer to state security, especially.
You jumped down, all right? Okay, thank you. We want to say thanks to everyone. It's been a great show. We look forward to being here tomorrow. I'm Nelson Colette. Thanks to George Wheeler, CDC Australia. Thanks to our brother Fambole, Maximus J. Fambole. Thanks to our brother Chokom or Mogai, right? Thanks to our brother Choko Mogai, and of course, Mr. Jirau SB Sende. So today the men may ought to know that the B stands for Bajipo. Tomorrow we'll know what it is. We really appreciate everyone. It's been a great show. We look forward to being here tomorrow. Until then,